Hello, everybody. Welcome to this virtual networking meetup of WiRE. We're very glad to have all of you here. I still have some more people joining in. Just bear with me right there as I'm letting them in. Perfect. So again, for those of you who just got in only the past minute, thank you all of you for joining us for this virtual version of our WiRE networking meetup. It's really awesome to have us all still able to be able to get together and have these events at least virtually. I'll start off with a little bit of housekeeping. So the sort of layout of this event is we're going to start off with, I'll give everyone all an introduction to what WiRE, Women in Renewable Energy, is all about, because I think we have some new people to WiRE here. So I'll let you all, I'll fill everybody in, and then we will head into the presentation from our lovely featured guest speaker for this edition, Falguni Shah. After that, I want to ask you all to hold on to your, or rather, not hold on to your questions, but type them into the chat below, and we will be taking questions in a Q&A session for about 10 minutes after her presentation. And then, so I'll be picking from the chat the questions that you send to us over the course of her presentation. And then by the time we're done the question and answer session, we're actually going to try to do some networking. So bear with us here. We're going to do it virtually. So I'm going to, at that point, break everybody out into smaller conversation groups. In there, you can start your camera and you can unmute, and you can actually have some conversations with whoever is in your conversation group. We're going to give you a little icebreaker question if you need something to get started in conversation with whoever you find yourself in a group with. And actually, when we get there, I'll just go over further details about how that is going to work technically. So I think without any further ado, I'm gonna continue on to tell you all about what WiRE, Women in Renewable Energy, is all about. If I click, it goes ahead. Perfect. So for those of you who don't know us here at WiRE, our purpose as an organization is to advance the role and recognition of women in the energy sector. We're a non-for-profit organization, and we launched in Toronto in 2013 and have been incorporated since then. Our programming this is how we do the work that we do is through our programming, and what we offer is for professionals and for students of all genders. We have events such as networking meetups, which used to take place in person. Now we're doing them virtually, at least for the time being, while we're trying to social distance. We also do capacity building field trips, hopefully getting back to those in not too long of a time, as well as speed networking meetups, speed mentoring for students, and oh, that's it for the for the events. We also organize bursaries for post-secondary students to be able to attend industry conferences, and we share stories from women leaders through our blog, which you can find on our website. And we also run several Women of Distinction awards in partnership with industry associations and their conferences that they hold here in Canada. Also, right at the moment, WiRE is in the process of launching our Indigenous Women in Leadership Award and also our Campus Student Ambassadorship Program this fall. So where is WiRE? Over the years, we've branched out to have chapters all across Canada to bring our events to you wherever you are. So we have chapters across Canada from Vancouver to St. John, and also most recently in the Yukon. In the recent years, we've also been expanding internationally with chapters in Turkey, Jordan, Azerbaijan, Jordan, and the UAE. Today with us, you'll actually be hearing briefly from Joanna Osawe, who is our president and CEO of WiRE. And on the executive board with her, we also have Aisha Bukhari and Julia Cushing, both of them bringing their backgrounds in energy innovation and the environment to our team. With this slide, I'd like to share with you some of the values and initiatives that we as an organization guide ourselves with. One of those values being this idea of global, that is, think global and act local. An initiative that we're really supportive of is, in case you haven't heard of this one, it is the Equal by 30 initiative. This is a public commitment for concrete action towards equal pay, equal leadership, and equal opportunities for women in the clean energy sector by 2030. And ultimately, it's aiming to close the gender gap in the workplace in the sector. And we are also a strong supporter of the Leadership Accord on Gender Diversity. That's an initiative from Electricity Human Resources Canada, and we're a supporter of them there with our public commitment to promote the values of workplace diversity and inclusion. So those are some of the things that WiRE does, and we can't do any of these things with the support of all of these great partners and sponsors who we have. So a big thank you to our government partners, our Gigawatt Club of sponsors. These are our major sponsors here in Canada, as well as, of course, we have some more WiRE sponsors behind us here too, with some great support. We have our industry and education partners here in Canada, and with our expansion abroad, we also have our international partners to thank. And finally, with that, I'd like to invite you to come check out our website and keep up to date with us. On our website there, you'll find a link. If you're not already subscribed to our newsletter, you can get subscribed to it. It goes out every month. And we're also active on social media. Check out those links right there. Without any further ado, Joanna, if you're ready, I'd like to pass the things over to you to introduce our guest speaker.
Great, thank you very much. Welcome to all of you. We're super excited to be here with all of you this afternoon. Brittany and I had a preview prior to us coming online of Ms. Falguni's presentation, so it's going to be a very educational one. So Falguni, thank you so much for being with us here today. Just a brief bio with Ms. Falguni's extensive resume. So Falguni Shah is the Vice President of Technology and Innovation at Alexicon Energy. She holds a master's degree in electrical engineering from the University of Western Ontario and is a professional engineer in the province of Ontario. She has worked in the electric utility industry for more than 25 years in various capacities, providing strategic leadership to foster creativity and innovation. She has extensive experience in smart grid, distribution system automation and modeling, SCADA communication, interconnection of distributed resources with remote monitoring and control, data management to quantify power system reliability, and in the planning and operation of reliable distribution systems. Falguni is currently the chair of the EDA Operations and Engineering Council, a member of the ISO Grid LDC Interoperability Committee, and member of IEC Joint Working Groups. She's also involved with a number of Ontario universities and colleges for the advancement of innovation projects in the area of distribution, system, and power system program advisory committee. Ms. Falguni, thank you so much again for being here with us today. Welcome to all of you, and I will definitely pass on the virtual spot for you. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Joanna. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you first to WiRE for providing me this opportunity to talk today in front of you. This is a great, and after looking at Brittany's presentation, I'm amazed with what WiRE is doing and how they have expanded in various areas, which is phenomenal. And with that, I will start my presentation. And my today's topic is light bulb. So light bulb is just a simple, Brittany, next slide, please. Yeah.
My apologies there, Falguni. I've just realized that I started you at the end of your presentation from when we were looking at it before.
No problem. You are changing.
I've got it set up now. Here we go.
So yeah, so the light bulb, as you see in the picture, it seems pretty simple, basic word and basic technology, but we have never ever thought that it has brought invention and innovation, and it sparked the electricity revolution for everybody's life. I'm going to talk about innovation, which has started from 1880 when the bulb is invented to 2020 and beyond. As you know, that electricity industry is going through a huge revolution at this stage. So let's walk through what are the major changes happening and where it is going to lead us through. So when we talk about this, next slide, please, Clayton. When we talk about this, everybody's mind, this picture comes in, right? And then most of you know that this is a Thomas Edison, inventor of light bulb. And then the next picture is the brain behind the electricity is Mr. Michael Faraday, who has invented the phenomena of electricity magnetism. And the third person we cannot forget is Nikola Tesla. And he is inventor of AC current. We all know that on Canada side, Niagara Falls, the statue of Nikola Tesla. Next slide, please. So we know that the innovation from the candle light to the bulb, and then we have now very modern bulbs, right? So that's what I mean. The light bulb has brought big innovation and modern life for our daily life and invention. So journey from 1880s to 2080, it starts from candle to the most innovative bulbs. So we also have seen this kind of changes into our utility industry. So these are the disruptive forces. We wanted to see how we can adapt in the utility and how we can provide better services by utilizing this innovation and changes. You may have heard the term of prosumer. The prosumer is combination of the word producers and consumers. What does that mean? Because in innovation of distributed energy, customer can not only generate electricity, but they can sell electricity, they can be a part of regulation services. So those are various changes we are going to talk about today and what it is bringing challenges as well as opportunity to the utility world. Next slide, please, Brittany. So while we go further down to our journey, I would like to start with a little bit introduction of Elexicon Energy, which is a merged company of formerly Viridian Connections and Whitby Hydro. And now we are fourth largest municipally owned electricity distributors in Ontario. We have about 172,000 plus residential and business customers, 787 kilometers square of service territory, about 2,100 kilometers of overhead line, and then about 766 kilometers of underground line. Our company serves 5 shareholders communities, which include Town of Whitby, City of Pickering, Town of Ajax, City of Belleville, Municipality of Clarington, and we do serve some 5 small communities as well. Next slide, please. I would like to show this slide because it's our Ajax headquarter office, and just wanted to show that we are talking about the microgrid and renewable energy. We are forefront of the technology. At our headquarter, we have installed microgrid to mimic the residential microgrid, which includes 10 kilowatt of carport here, because in residential, mostly solar will be on the rooftop, but the maximum size is 10 kilowatt for the rooftop residential solar, and that's why we mimic the 10 kilowatt of solar carport. And we have installed a Tesla Powerwall inside our building and created a microgrid. And during power outage, our expectation is there will be some light bulb on in the our lobby using microgrid, as well as there will be some plugs for charging phones or using laptop for our customers in the lobby area. We have 1 DC fast charger as well as 2 and actually 3 level 2 charger as well, and those are open for the public as well. And that's why I wanted to show this specific slide. So let's go back to our presentation about the light bulb. As I mentioned, that Edison's light bulb was one of the first applications of electricity to our modern life. It radically challenged the status quo by introducing people to an entire new type of energy. So after inventing light bulb in 1879, Edison has patented this electricity grid and first established a first investor on a grid in Pearl Street, New York City in 1982. It has transformed electricity from science experiment into exciting self-coveted luxury. So he used to do all those experiments, but now there is a grid he has formed. And with this grid and technology, we all have seen a lot of luxury in our life. Next slide, please. So I just wanted to show this slide because everybody must be familiar that the picture in the bottom is Graham Bell and then top is Thomas Edison. So I wanted to say that if Alexander Graham Bell somehow transported into 21st century, he would not begin to recognize the components of modern telephony. Whereas if Thomas Edison comes to this century, he would be totally familiar with the grid. So that talks about that we haven't in utility industry or as a grid not made too much challenges or too much changes for many, many years. The grid stayed the same for so many years. And now we are entering into the era where grid is going to change. And this is the time for modernizing and utility, new model of utility. Next slide, please. So when I was talking about that journey from 1880 to 2022, I would like to mention this slide, which is published by the World Bank, the Energy Progress Report in 2020. The World Bank, I think many of you know that World Bank has 20 goals, and then the goal 7 is they are tracking the sustainable development. Part of this report they have mentioned some very eye-opening data. We all talking about modernization and luxury, but 789 million people in the world doesn't have still electricity. 2.8 billion people in the world doesn't have access to clean cooking. And on the other side, there are good data is now in the world, 7.3% share is coming from renewable energy. And about the good thing, another good thing is the electricity energy intensity is reduced, which is a good point. 5.9 megajoule to US dollar, it has reduced to 5 megajoule to US dollar. Let me give you a little bit background. This energy intensity is an indication of how much energy is used to produce 1 unit of economic output. So lower ratio indicates that less energy is used to produce 1 unit output. So we are utilizing our energy more efficiently. So that's the indicator. The another good thing is in the whole world, the more contribution is made toward the development of clean energy. So it was a 10.1 US billion in 2010, which is changed to 21.4 US billion dollar, which is a good sign that we are working towards decarbonization and thinking about the clean energy resources. Next slide, please, Brittany. Before we talk further about renewable energy or smart grid development or what's happening into the grid, we cannot forget to discuss about what are the main drivers, what are happening in the world that make us to think about the renewable energy and smart grid development. So the first driver is decarbonization. So we all know that whenever combustion of any fossil fuel produces greenhouses, and if we are burning coal, which will result in 900 gram of CO2 for each kilowatt of energy generated. So as a part of innovation, electricity industry is trying to utilize more renewable energy, solar, wind, and biomass. The second one is decentralization. We have seen the energy has been always produced at central location like Niagara Falls or Pickering Nuclear or Bruce Power. But now energy can be generated at anybody's backyard. It can be generated at any commercial place. So that's a decentralization is a bigger driver as well. The another one is deregulation. Ontario has gone through deregulation in 2001 to bring more reliability and resiliency for their customers. And other part of the world is following also this model nowadays. Democratization. This is another big driver. With this, even you and me and everyone can participate and generate electricity and distribute electricity. They can sell electricity and they can participate in energy market. We will see, because of this, we will see down the road more increase in transactive energy and blockchain technologies, which can apply to the utility industry. And finally is digitization. Digitization allows utility as well as customer to visualize their energy and their needs and monitor and control. So digitalization is very important. It has given a lot of values to this renewable energy industry. So this, next slide, please. These 5 drivers are for the renewable energy and smart grid development will help eventually to the world and to us stabilizing the climate impact from fossil fuel, meeting the energy demand of growing population, because our energy from centralized power will not be enough as we grow. So there is a need for clean energy, and then this renewable energy will be a great source to meeting this growth of the population and meeting the energy demand. bringing electricity to more than 700 million people without access, which I already mentioned on the World Bank's report, that there are people still without energy. So they can get energy access. Ensuring stable and secure energy access for all nations, transporting electricity long distance from where it is generated to where it is used. So that's another change because of these drivers are helping us. Next slide, please. As we discussed, these renewable energy sources are very secure as well as no cost to it, because we know that fossil fuel prices we have to pay first of all, and the price will fluctuate with the need or politic barriers or whatever, whereas this renewable energy is at no cost as well as very secure. It is intermittent, but we can manage through the storage. So this renewable energy is very secure and providing us a great opportunity for the as a sources. Next slide, please. As I mentioned about decentralization of renewable energy is beneficial because now it can be in anybody's backyard or anybody can produce this grid. This is very beneficial into the world where they don't have a transmission line or distribution line, and some part of the world they cannot afford, even their government cannot afford to put long lines to provide electricity to those people. So this renewable energy, decentralized renewable energy has made about 35 million people had access of off-grid sources of some basic form of electricity. When I talk about basic form means, think about that just a little charging unit with one bulb. It has been charged during the daytime and then people use those energy at night time for their work or whenever they need it. And that basic I am talking about. And this decentralized renewable energy has created so many mini microgrids or mini off grids in different parts of the world, where there is no transmission line, no distribution line to provide electricity to them. And that's the biggest achievement of and benefit of renewable energy in the world. Next slide, please. So while we are talking about a lot of benefits and a lot of modernization, luxury comes with the renewable energy, there are some challenges for the utility. The challenges are divided in 4 portions because it's invisible to the grid operator who is sitting inside the utility because of the limited visibility. If I have a 5 kilowatt of solar in my backyard and it's not grid connected, or even it is grid connected, system operator will know that this person has some source of electricity at their premises, but there is no visibility. There is no control. Even though I am sitting in my control room, I know that this many person has solar or wind or whatever type of generator, but small generators, we don't have any control. Limited predictability, because now customer can use their own way. They can choose to use for their self, or they can choose, if they are grid connected, they can choose to sell it off to the grid, or they can choose to store electricity or charge electricity if they have a storage. So basically there is no predictability of the customer behavior. That's another challenge. And limited coordination, because the generation development, the renewable energy generation development happened so widely in the world, and in Ontario, what we have seen at some point, at some places, that there is a wind generation of 5 megawatt or 2 megawatt going on, but we have a transmission line, but the transmission line conductor is not big enough to handle that wind generation. There are customers wanted to connect to our grid, but we cannot connect. So there is no central planning. So at some point we need to coordinate customers, power producers, and distributor and transmitter together for better coordination so that we can get more benefit of this interconnection and manage resources properly. Next slide, please. So those are challenges for the utility operators, but then on the bigger scale, there are challenges with increased DER has created, and the challenges is impact on IESO level, at bulk power level. So at bulk power, operator also started thinking about impact of DER, and that's why NPCC, Northeastern Power Coordinating Council, has started work on it and then created a guidance document for how to optimize and enhance system resiliency and reliability because of penetration of DER all around. NERC also involved in system planning, taking a look at the system planning impact. And DER continues to replace the resource fuel mix. Operational characteristic of system will change, and NERC reliability standard is not applicable to DER, but they have started involving and working with bulk power producers to think about this, that how can we manage in future. So as I mentioned that now, next slide, please. As I mentioned now that there is a need to have a understand impact of distributed energy resources on the bulk power side at IESO side. How can we measure, or how can we fully plan it? So there is no tools available right now. There is a tool available to do the impact study on transmission side. There is a tool available for the distribution side like SIME or OpenDSS or DAS, and same PSSC is a transmission line analysis tool. But there is no tool which can integrate studies of transmission and distribution together. And that's why US Department of Energy, Argonne National Laboratory has a project underway to develop a tool which can give you full view of distribution and transmission utility together. Next slide, please. Another agency who is looking into this DER impact and how we can get benefit and how customers get more benefit is FERC, which is a Federal Electricity Regulatory Commission. And they have recently published order number 2222, and they have requested their regulatory and policymakers to come up with a model so that distributed resources customer who has distributed resources, they can play into the energy market and make a model such a way so that if I am only 10 kilowatt producer, I can aggregate with another in my area and then be participant, or I am 100 kilowatt or larger. It's easy for me to participate in the energy market too. So this rule is another game changer and big benefit for the customers. Next slide, please. This rule is not only benefit to the customer, but it will bring lower cost for consumers through enhanced competition. So right now there is no competition. Now it will bring competition, so the cost will lower, more grid flexibility, resiliency, and more innovation will come within the electric power industry because now customers are also players and market participants. Next slide, please. So this distributed energy resources and more customers are having DERs are going to be a game changer for the utility. Utility has to come up with the way that how they can model their system, manage their system, and operate that system. Along with distributed generation, distributed utility scale and customer side storage will grow in importance because we are talking about distributed resources, but don't forget the storage, because the storage and generation together is going to be a game changer. And utility now has to think about the utility new model. Next slide, please. So when we talk about the opportunities and challenges of DER to utility side, the infrastructure management is going to be a challenge. It can be very powerful tool managing power reliability and quality as well, which is opportunity, but the management is the challenge. To avoid these issues, I think information and communication technology, ICT, has to be coordinated with the DER. So utility has to reach behind the meter what customer has, have to have more visibility, and for that, there should be better information and communication technology and communication between the customer as well as utility, which is very much needed. On the other side, customer will enjoy, because once they have a solar and storage, they will enjoy their peak shaving, backup power, and energy arbitrage. For meeting this, I know the communication technology is the key, but not only the policymakers, customers, utility needs to work together, but manufacturer also needs to play a role. According to California Rule 21, they have asked inverter makers as well to include some features so that utility can reach them and enable the dispatch control. The inverters can be dispatch controllable. Next slide, please. So as I talked, that for more than hundreds years, the utility is very traditional utility. There were DER, but not at this much scale, and customers were not aware. Technology is not easily available. But with this technology available and storage, last few years and going beyond, it's going to become very critical for the utilities and customers both. But the new paradigm will be customer will have minimal, before customer had minimal control on their bill, but now they can visualize, they can have total control over their energy usage and their bill. So this I would not call evolution, but that's the revolution for the utility industry. Customers benefit will drive the policy, and at utility as well as the regulators, policymakers, the customers' need will drive everything beyond, because we have to be ready. We need to think about customers, and we need to provide benefit to the customers. So that would be the new paradigm. Next slide, please. The grid operators will become active system operators. So right now, grid operators will see only their substation and the upstream of their utility business, but now they have to involve with customers, and they have to become active system operator, like they have to become like IESO system operators. We need to develop innovative system to solve constraint issues and manage injection of variable power. So as I mentioned earlier, that we have to be more visible, more control, and that's why information communication technology has to be evolved and work with the utility model such a way that we have a better visibility and control model. With this discussion about new paradigm and what utility needs and what utility has challenges as well as opportunity, I'll conclude my talk with my last slide. Coming together is beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. And this is Henry Ford's quote. Thank you, everyone, and I'm open for questions.
Thank you so much, Falguni. We do have a few questions in here. I'm just, to keep it a bit more straightforward, I'm going to read off the few questions we have. So going straight to a question from Mackenzie Gillen. She asks, as decentralized energy improves and becomes more common, will there still be careers for those that maintain distribution and transmission lines?
Yes, of course, there will be a career, even it will be become more challenging, and then the need, the talent we need in the utility industry will little bit change, right? So with more automation, more distributed energy, there should be a management, because I know there is a non-wires business. So people are saying that poles and wires business will go, but utility is also changing their model. The recent announcement from OEB that OEB is allowing utility to put behind the meter storage, because this has never done in the utility industry before. But now Ontario Energy has asked, recently published comment, asking for comments of the allowing the utility to put storage behind the meter to meet the reliability need. And now, even though customer will have their own energy usage, but utility will play a role as a market participant. So customer as a market participant, you still need a controller or mechanism in the utility. So utility will need energy folks, which has more analytics, more, as I mentioned in my slide too, that they will become more active than before. They don't have to take care of their own asset, but now they are going behind the meter. So there will be a carrier.
Thank you. Our next question is from Ila Sarathia. She asks, could you please elaborate a bit more on the California Rule 21?
Yes, yeah. The California Rule 21 is quite similar to what we have from Hydro One. There is a document, the guideline for the technical guideline to connecting distributed generation to our grid in Ontario. So this is a similar document which talk about IEEE 1547 and all standards in the California Rule 21, which is applicable in their area, but we are following that and then adapting a lot of into our technical guideline as well. And I think in Ontario, Hydro One has done a great job creating technical guideline document, and it's available on their website, and they are actively working on changing that document because of these changes. But this California Rule 21 is exactly similar document. And if you go on internet, type California Rule 21, you will get this document readily available.
Awesome, thank you. I'm going to take one more question from here. This one comes from Jasmine Lynn. She asks, what is your utility doing to promote or integrate microgrids?
So at our utility, we have, as I mentioned in my slide, that we have a microgrid as a demonstration. We are also, we got at Lexicon Energy, we got funding from Ministry of Energy and IESO Innovation Fund, and we are working on community nested microgrid as well. So as a utility, what we are doing is we are preparing ourselves before our customer asks that, okay, I have a nested microgrid or I have a microgrid which I wanted to connect. So we are preparing ourselves, training our staff, and preparing our infrastructure to prepare before customer comes and asks for connection.
Thank you very much. Well, that's the end of things for this edition of our virtual networking meetup. We have plenty more on the way for the rest of this year. So if you would like to see the dates and times and the guest speakers for those ones, do go ahead to our website, you know where we are, womeninrenewableenergy.ca, and you can find out how you can sign up for those. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in and joining us. Thank you so much to Ms. Falguni Shah for her very informative presentation. We thoroughly enjoyed that. And that's it. I hope the rest of you, I hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you.